Puff was arrested, as you all know by now. The biggest news in the country this week. Puff Daddy. I love calling him Puff because I like the name Puff better than Diddy, so I always call him Puff. But Puff Daddy arrested um, in New York. They have him at the MDC Brooklyn, the same jail R. Kelly was at for a while. And y'all remember when R. Kelly was at the MDC Brooklyn, I was so upset. I couldn't wait until he got moved from that jail because it's so nasty. It's so disgusting. And it's just, the jail needs to be shut down. It's one of the most filthy jails in the country. But R. Kelly was there for a while, and now he's in Butner, which is a much better jail than a lot of the jails in the country. Puff is not having a good time in jail. He's on suicide watch. He was denied bail twice. He put up $50 million to get out of jail. He surrendered his passports. His kids surrendered their passports. And the judge said it's insufficient. The judge said he's a danger, and he has anger issues, and he's not letting him out of jail because he's fearful that Puff will tamper with witnesses. I think Puff should have gotten a bond. But just like I thought R. Kelly should have gotten a bond. But when the feds grab you, they're gonna make you sit, you know? They're gonna make you sit. So they're making Puff sit, solitary confinement, suicide watch. He would probably be there for 75 days. Remember, R. Kelly was, when he first got to jail, he was by himself in that nasty room for like 75 days. And you really only get 3 showers a week. You can't use the phone. You can't get on no internet. You can't watch no TV. You can't go outside. So it's hell, to be in that type of position. Puff wants to talk to his kids. He doesn't have his phone privileges. The only time he's seen his kids is when his sons came at the bail hearing. Quincy, Justin, and Christian Combs were there. A lot of people were saying, why is Quincy there? Puff raised Quincy. Puff raised Quincy. And Quincy loves Puff. At the end of the day, Puff has always said, Quincy is my son. He paid child support for Quincy. Puff always said he has 7 kids. He always includes Quincy. I do not know how Albie Shore lost custody of his son and Puff gained custody, but that's his dad, whether it's biological or not, and he's supporting him, as he should. Puff has a lot of advantages over R. Kelly in this situation. Puff has his children's support. He has a lot of money to fight this case. He has a whole team of lawyers. I think I counted, they say about 10 more lawyers are going to join his team. So he's going to have the money to hire the best of the best attorneys to really fight this case. So he's in a better position in that situation. R. Kelly was in a better position in terms of he was not charged with racketeering conspiracy. According to lawyers I've seen online, the racketeering conspiracy that Puff has is way more serious than just the racketeering charge that R. Kelly had. The racketeering conspiracy charge carries a life in prison term. So they get him on that racketeering, it's over. They're going to give him life. I don't want to see that happen to him. I really don't. I don't think he deserves life. It was a lot of conspiracy theories about Puff over the years. They said he killed Tupac. He killed Big. He killed Kim Porter. He was raping Justin Bieber. He was raping Usher. He was doing all of these things. But when it came down to the charges, the only person he's charged with is Cassie. If you look at that indictment, Cassie is listed as victim 1. There is no victim 2. There is no victim 3. He's only charged with Cassie. And the government is going to bring in 49 uncharged acts, 49 uncharged witnesses to come in and testify. Yeah, Puff flew me in. Yeah, I was at the sex party with Cassie. So they're going to have 49 other people to testify to support Cassie's claims, right? But he's only charged with Cassie. So once I saw what he was charged with, I said, most of the stuff we've been hearing about Puff might have been BS. I don't believe he killed Kim Porter. He might not have killed Pac, and he might not have killed Big, because best believe if he had anything to do with Tupac's killing, they would have charged him with it. They want Puff to spend the rest of his life behind bars. The moment he sued that liquor company, that was it for him. They didn't want nothing else to do with him. They wanted him destroyed. And that's it. That's it. I remember when R. Kelly first went to jail, R. Kelly had no support. Remember, it was just the fans supporting him. Everybody was like, mute R. Kelly. They did a lot of shit to R. Kelly. They took away his commissary money. Didn't give him a bond. People talked about him online like a dog. He had no support. And he went to trial with a documentary already seen by everybody on the jury, so they already formed an opinion of him. So R. Kelly really had a tough fight, you know. He really did. But hopefully, we can get that New York verdict overturned. You know, we're still waiting on New York to overturn R. Kelly's verdict. We'll see. We're still praying about that. I'm still praying about it. R. Kelly was really done wrong, and now Puff, I believe, is being treated unfairly. I'm going to tell you why. If they would have charged Puff with beating Cassie, domestic violence, I would support it. If they said, Puff, we're going to give you 5 years for hitting Cassie, I would support it because he did hit Cassie. But when I look at that, what the charges are, I don't think beating Cassie is racketeering. I don't think beating Cassie is sex trafficking. It doesn't fall into that. Cassie was with him for 10 years. And you cannot convince me that she was not a willing participant in the sex parties. Nobody can force you to do something sexually for 10 years. I know they couldn't force me to do it. I would have said, look, nigga, I'm not finna be out here taking all these dicks in my butt from these random men. I'm just not into this shit. You fucking with my health. You fucking with my body. I'm not doing it. I would have left. But Cassie stayed and did whatever Puff wanted in the bedroom. She participated in all the threesomes and the foursomes and the orgies because Puff had a lot of money. If Puff was a nigga that worked at Walmart, you think she would have been doing orgies with him? Hell no. If Puff didn't have a private jet, if Puff was working at the dollar store, she wouldn't have put up with none of this shit for no 10 years. So at a certain point, yes, Cassie is a victim of domestic violence. I would have been pleased if he was charged with domestic violence for Cassie. But I'm not pleased about the racketeering conspiracy. I'm not pleased about the sex trafficking. I'm not pleased about the prostitution charge. And the feds came out there talking about, we seized baby oil. I was like, baby oil? I got a bottle of baby oil in my house. Are they going to charge me with racketeering for having baby oil? They out there acting like they seized a whole bunch of kilos of drugs. They're railroading Puff. They're railroading him. But he shouldn't have sued that liquor company. He got too arrogant. He was making $80 million a year off of Ciroc. That was his salary from Ciroc. He should have just been happy with the $80 million he was receiving. And he shouldn't have tried to sue, talking about, y'all owe me $1 billion. The moment he started asking about the money for the liquor, that's when, oops, Cassie suing. Oops, all the other people suing. So they pulled the trigger on him. They pulled the trigger on him. And when you out here doing dirt, and when you have a lot of dirt that people can use against you, you don't need to be suing nobody, especially the most powerful liquor conglomerate in the world. Puff was crazy for suing him. Another mistake he made was not paying Cassie when she broke up with her. When he broke up with Cassie, he should have given her a departure package. He should have said, sweetie, we did a lot together. We're breaking up. Let me give you $15 million. And you're going to sign an NDA. You can't write no book about me. You can't speak negatively about me in the press. You can't talk about me or my kids or my businesses. If he had done that when she broke up with him, when they broke up, gave her some money then, he wouldn't have been in the feds now. He wouldn't have been in the feds now because she would have had no reason to sue him. Because she would have already signed agreements that she can't sue and she can't profit off of his name. The whole situation is sad. I saw his sons looking sad when they left the courtroom after he was denied bail. The daughters were not there at the bail hearing. I guess he didn't want his daughters there, because they're still young. They're still minors. So, yeah, they didn't come to the bail hearing. But I know it hurt him deep inside that he can't be around his kids. Because say what you want about Puff, he's always been an active father. We've always seen Puff be a father to his kids. That's one good thing about him. He's not like these other rappers that you never see him with his kids. The kids still live with him. The kids still living in the house in Miami and Star Island. So he always have his kids around. So I don't believe that he is just this terrible person. I think he's made a lot of mistakes. I think he let the power get to him. I think that he beat women. I really do. I believe that he mistreated Cassie. And I believe he should be charged. He should have been charged with domestic violence or some sort of abuse charge for Cassie. But it shouldn't be a racketeering charge. Give the man like 5 years in jail for beating Cassie and let him come home. You know what I mean? I don't want to see him do life. But when the feds leaked that video about Cassie, I think we all knew that they were trying to ruin his reputation in the public so that when they overcharged him, we'd be like, yeah. They seized baby oil. Get him. I don't think baby oil being seized is going to be enough to sway the jury. But what they're going to try to do is say that the sex was non-consensual. They're saying that he gave the people at the sex party drugs and he gave them IVs. But in my opinion, he did the right thing by having IV drips there. Because if these people are getting high and drunk, they need to have IVs there and different things there so they don't overdose and pass out. So that's going to be his defense about the IVs. Hey, I'm having a sex party, and I know we all going to be getting high, but I wanted to be safe, and I wanted to make sure everybody had access to an IV so that nobody overdosed and died at the sex party. I don't understand why they keep giving black men one-man RICOs, but we said the moment these people allowed these people to sit up here and charge R. Kelly as an enterprise, everybody else was going to be a fucking enterprise. And you think they're not going to get Jay-Z next? They already started with Jay-Z. Everybody already saying, well, what about Jay-Z? What about Jay-Z? Jay-Z is not an innocent man. And deep down, I believe that Jay-Z had something to do with surviving R. Kelly. I believe he had something to do with R. Kelly getting that nasty documentary filled with lies, because Jay-Z and Dream Hampton are very close friends. Jay-Z and Dream Hampton have gone on vacations together with each other's families. So who funded Surviving R. Kelly? Was it Jay-Z? So I hope that Jay-Z get a taste of his own medicine. When R. Kelly was free, everybody else was free. The moment they put out Surviving R. Kelly, it led to the public saying, well, what about Jay-Z? What about Diddy? What about all these other men in the business? We got to get them all. It led to a slippery slope, and the slippery slope has now led to Puff getting racketeering conspiracy charges. And everybody in Hollywood is quiet as hell. Everybody is quiet as hell. Everybody is fucking scared. Everybody is fucking scared. Unbelievable. Puff trying to get moved to a prison in New Jersey, but I don't think they're going to move him just yet. They're going to let him sit at the MDC, because if you know anything about the feds, what they said with R. Kelly, we're not taking him back and forth. Remember when they said that? They told Minnesota, we're not going to take him back and forth. He going to have to stay in one spot. We're not wasting money taking him back and forth. So once the feds have you, they act like they don't want to transport you. So he's going to be at the MDC Brooklyn until that trial. I think the trial is going to be probably about next summer. I see next summer in 2025. I think that's when the trial could start. Also, when that trial starts, I think Puff is going to have about 30 attorneys. He's going to fight this thing. And best believe he got dirt on Cassie. Because he already have a recorded phone conversation of Cassie telling him, if you give me $30 million, I won't release this book. So Cassie tried to extort him for $30 million before she filed that lawsuit. Cassie is not an innocent sweetheart. Cassie is not an innocent sweetheart without flaws. She got flaws, but she was a victim of domestic violence. He shouldn't have hit her. He should have just turned her loose. If she didn't want to be there, don't hit her. Just let her go. Let her go find a broke nigga. You jeopardize everything trying to run up behind this chick. And, she stayed and tolerated the shit for 10 years because he was a billionaire. If she was with Taekwon down the street, she wouldn't have stayed for 6 days. She wouldn't have even looked at a Taekwon down the street. So Cassie was happy to be the main girl on Puff's arm. She was happy when Puff broke up with Kim Porter and got with her. But then he started mistreating her like he allegedly used to mistreat Kim Porter. Puff did some bad things, y'all. He was abusive to women. And a lot of people want to see him sit for that. And I get that. A lot of people feel like he beat Cassie and you don't care if he get charged with racketeering conspiracy by himself, but I do. I care about these laws because they're going to start off with the celebrities and eventually you're going to have regular people getting charged with racketeering conspiracy for some dumb shit. I don't believe Puff was raping nobody, y'all. I don't believe he was forcing anybody to be at the sex parties. I think when he had them freak-offs, I think everybody who was invited was into that shit and they were into all them orgies. And he just had the drugs there and the IVs there. Hey, you get high, go on an IV. And you get back right, you go home. You're not high when you leave his place. But that's called racketeering now. That's called racketeering. So I hope everybody else in the business, all the men in the business are tightening up. You shouldn't be having no threesomes or foursomes or fivesomes or no orgies. Get you a wife, get you a girlfriend, and have sexual discipline. A lot of these situations could be avoided if men had sexual discipline. Stop being so thirsty to fly all these hoes out. Sit up there staying home. Spend time with your kids. Nobody around Puff got him some help and say, sweetie, you got to stop with all these freak-offs. You're doing too much fucking. You're doing too much drugs. Let's get you some help. But they wanted him on the freak-offs. They wanted him doing the freak-offs. They wanted him doing the drugs because they didn't really care nothing about him. If they really cared about him, they would say, you need to get a wife. You need to clean up your image. You don't need all these random women. How much pussy you gonna get? You know? But I think what happened with Puff is that when you're so rich and you don't have sex with every woman across of every nationality, he probably had sex with men. I don't know. There's no proof that he had sex with the men. They're saying that the prostitutes were hired for Cassie. So, and he just liked to watch. I think what it is that he may like to watch and tape and create his own pornos. I think that's what he was doing, creating his own pornos because he was taping these people. But that's people that could now come back and say they weren't fair. And I think they got some of them tapes. The moment you saw R. Kelly go down, you should have been saying, nah, let me get rid of all my tapes. Let me delete all this shit. Delete all them tapes. But we'll see what's going to happen. Puffy's going to sit for a while. They're not going to give him no bond. They say he's a flight risk. They say he's too dangerous. They say he's going to intimidate witnesses. So he'll sit. He's going to be on suicide watch for a while. He might be in that little holding cell for about 100 days. He won't be able to talk to his kids. It's sad. It's sad because he's a good father. I remember the bodyguard said, I seen Puff abuse every man and woman around him except for his kids. He never hit his kids. He never beat on his kids or harmed his kids. So at least we have that. At least we can have peace knowing that he loved his kids and he never beat on his kids and he always treated his kids well. So he has a good side. He has a bad side. He's done a lot of bad things. He has sinned. And while he in that cell, he need to be asking God for forgiveness for the shit he has done. But do I want to see that man do life behind bars for some sex parties? No, I do not. I want to see that man get help. I want to see him say, you know what? I don't need to be putting my life online like this. I don't need to be having no sex parties. I don't need to be beating no women. I need to be getting right with God and focusing on my kids. And I need to get a wife. It's time out for all that freaking. You done did enough sex. Time to get a wife. Get you a beautiful wife from somewhere that you love and chill out. All that sexing. I mean, how much sex do men are different because women, we don't need all that sex, but men need it 10 times a day. I guess it's the testosterone, but he got to humble himself. But he still shouldn't do no life in jail. So anyway, prayers up to Puff.